Hello and welcome back to my channel. I thought I would make a bit of a different kind of video for a change, particularly considering we are in these, for want of a better word, trying times. I thought I would make a video all about stress, more specifically techniques for dealing with stress, techniques for dealing with anxiety and relaxation techniques as well. Obviously, I am not a doctor or a therapist, so you know, if you do have something that is seriously going on, obviously go down that route. These are just things that have helped me, techniques that I use to just get through these really strange times. Obviously it's winter. Winter's always a bit of a more depressing time for a lot of people. It's darker, it's colder. On top of that, we are in our third lockdown and a lot of people are facing a lot of difficulties right now. So I just thought I'd make a really quick video just going over things that I do and things that help me in these kind of times. Also, if anyone would like to, I would really encourage, if you also have some techniques that help you, just to share those in the comments, because someone else could really benefit from them. They might read them and it could really help someone else. So I just wanted to kind of open up that free-for-all forum and hopefully we can all help each other a little bit. That's sort of saying enough people see this, but if you do and you have something that you'd like to share that helps you, I think that would be a really positive thing to share and hopefully it can help someone else. So the first thing I wanted to talk about that really helps me at the moment is meditation. I think a lot of people can maybe turn their nose up at meditation. I feel like there's a lot of weight behind the word meditation and people have a lot of kind of expectations of what that might entail, and you have to be kind of this oh so holy, I don't know, just I feel like there's a lot of preconceived misconceptions about meditation, and actually it can be the most simple thing in the world. It can be as simple as just taking a moment to acknowledge your breath, to acknowledge your how your body feels in the environment, to focus on, you know, your legs, focus on your arms, focus on your breathing, and just regulate that, and it can really help to bring you back and center yourself. Another thing that I like to use for meditation is guided meditations. There's so many on Spotify, on YouTube, so many free guided meditations. They kind of, you know, it leads you right through it. You don't really need to do anything other than listen to it and just shut off from the rest of the world. And I've found these to be such a godsend in these times. I'm really finding that I'm relying on them quite a lot, and it really helps when I am feeling overwhelmed or anxious to just bring myself back and focus on just calming my mind. Another thing I know that is really useful for a lot of people are meditation apps. I personally don't or haven't used any of them before, so I can't specifically recommend, you know, what they're like, but I do know that a lot of people use them and I hear some very positive things about meditation apps. The next thing I'm going to talk about is yoga. Again, I feel like yoga has a bit of a preconceived conception that you... Preconceived conception? Misconception? I don't know if I'm saying that phrase right. Anyway, I know that people have a lot of expectations around what yoga is maybe meant to be. It's not always about doing the fanciest, craziest yoga moves and pushing yourself loads. There's so many videos and how-tos for yoga for free on YouTube for all sorts of levels, and if you're anything like me and you don't like exercise, which I don't mind exercise if I feel like I'm doing some kind of activity, but I can't stand just exercising for the sake of it, like just doing sit-ups or just I don't know, doing crunches or squats. I just find it very monotonous, so I like to be doing something where almost the exercise is kind of a byproduct of that, so I kind of trick myself into it. So I found that yoga really helps for me for that, because it also combines all the benefits of meditation and concentrating on your breathing and centering yourself, but you're moving as well, which is obviously really, really good for your body. Releases all those positive endorphins which we need to feel good. I'm maybe a bit guilty of being a bit of a slob from time to time. I can spend all day sitting around doing nothing. I could happily do that, and I think sometimes it's good to actually break out of that cycle and move and just get your body moving again, get the blood flowing. And I just find that yoga is a really non-intimidating way of introducing that into my life. The next thing I'm going to recommend is going out on walks, going on walks in nature, finding a local park. If you live in the countryside, obviously even better, because you'll have access to all of that on your doorstep. But if you live in a city, go to your local park, go to the nearest place where there's nature and just walk. You know, take a podcast with you, listen to an audiobook. It's another easy way of getting the blood flowing and getting your body moving without, once again, feeling too intimidating, like you have this. I know sometimes when I try and do workouts, if I plan to have a workout in the day, I feel like there's this kind of looming dread ahead of me. I mean, I guess if you're into workouts, that's great, so do that, but I'm just sharing things that work for me, and I'm really not a workout person. So I think going on a walk is a really nice way of getting myself moving again, and also it's really, really beneficial to be out in nature. It's really good for just our state of being, just to once again shut off from the rest of the world and the stresses of things that are going on, either in the world or just in your own life, and just reconnect with nature. Either listen to a podcast or an audiobook or music, or just don't listen to anything and listen to the birds and notice things and look at the leaves, and go out when the sun's setting, or go out in the morning when it's sort of all quiet and untouched. And I find that really relaxing as well. Once I've managed to force myself out of bed in the morning, because I can't stand waking up early, once I'm up and outside in the mornings, it's just such a calming feeling. So yeah, going on walks I think is a really, really good option as well. That being said, there is absolutely no shame in taking a day or more, if you need to, and binging a good old series in bed all day. There's absolutely no shame in doing that if that's something that will also help you relax, help you look after yourself and your mental health. Don't feel pressured to have to be doing something that is perceived as productive. You know, like maybe more so say going on a walk or doing a bit of exercise. If sitting in bed and binging series all day, if doing that all day makes you feel good and makes you feel refreshed and helps look after your mental well-being, there's absolutely no shame in doing that. I certainly do that much more than I go out on walks or do yoga. So I just wanted to reiterate that as well. It's all about just finding things that work for you and just help you stay sane and feel good and look after your well-being. The next thing I wanted to share is bullet journaling. If you haven't heard of bullet journaling, just look it up. It's quite the craze, I feel. It's basically creating your own diary, planner, journal, with a blank book. So you kind of fill it out according to what you want from a diary or planner. Now, I started bullet journaling at the beginning of 2020 with all my now very innocent and ill-judged motivation for that year. So I started this beautiful spread on this bullet journal, like, here we go, 2020, let's smash it. Little did I know what would ensue. Sweet, sweet summer child. But I kept it up for the start of 2020 and I found it really, really good for my mental health. I found it really relaxing to actually take the time and draw and plan things out. It did pretty much stop around March. You know, no guesses as to why there. But the one thing I did keep up from the bullet journal was my year in pixels. So I'm actually going to show you just so you can see what I mean. So it's essentially a mood tracker where each day of the year corresponds to a different square on a grid, and you have a key for different colours and each colour corresponds to a different mood. And then you just fill it in at the end of every day. You think back over the day, and then I just kind of did a general summary of what my mood was that day and filled it in with that colour. So I shall show you. This is kind of what it looks like, and you can see overall I did pretty good. You know, there were some down days, a couple of really good days. And yeah, it was just really nice to be able to look back and look for patterns, sort of figure out what things might be more triggering for you, what kind of days you struggle with more. I know some people do it in a bit more detail where they have a tracker that basically tracks mood, tracks sleep, tracks like your good habits. But that's the beauty of bullet journaling, is you create what you want to create, and I just wanted to do a general summary of each day. It was weird because some days there was like something good might happen and something bad might happen, so I had to kind of really think back at the end of the day, like what was my overall feeling for the day. And I don't know, maybe other people wouldn't want to do it that way, but that's just what I prefer doing. I've already started my year in pixels for this year, and I've just found it a really good way to get to know yourself, to almost like exercise mindfulness in a way at the end of each day, because you're taking that time for yourself to just sit and think back over your day and not just let everything rush by every day, to actually check in with yourself at the end of every single day. Say day one more time, Mirren. But yeah, this is my one for this year so far. Not very full yet, but only time will tell how it will end up. Hopefully many filled with good days. The next thing I wanted to share is actually just a little bit of advice, a little tidbit of knowledge that my grandma actually told me. And aren't grandparents just full of wisdom? I really think any advice from a grandparent is just really golden advice. And this is a way that she always said helped boost her mood if she was feeling a bit down, and it was just a really simple thing to do. And she just said, wash your hair. That simple. Obviously it won't like cure your problems, you know, it's not like a miracle worker, but in terms of if you're just having a bit of a low mood, or you're just not feeling yourself, or you're just feeling a bit groggy, or just not feeling like you, she just swore by it. She was just like, wash your hair, you'll feel better. And to be honest, I do this and it does work. I don't know what it is about having freshly washed hair, but it just gives you that little that little boost. And it's just a really simple thing. Obviously it's not going to cure all your problems, but it's a simple thing to just know that you can fall back on if you are having a bit of a blah kind of day. So wanted to share that as well. The next thing I wanted to share to help just calm everything and shut off from the world is to set particular times where you put your phone on airplane mode, because social media is crazy. Social media is so all-consuming and so exhausting in so many ways, and I think so many of us have fallen into that trap of just mindlessly scrolling and feeling that kind of weird hit of dopamine that you get when someone likes something of yours or messages you. There's some really interesting studies actually on what that does to our brains and how it's really addictive. But we've all been there, and it's really, once you get into that cycle of just mindlessly scrolling, it's really hard. I feel like I'm almost in a trance, like pulling me in, and it's not doing me any good. So I just think it's really healthy to set certain times where you're just going to have your phone on airplane mode and you just switch off from all of that crap, and you take time to yourself to maybe do one of the things I've mentioned, or read, or just do something that you actually enjoy instead of just mindlessly scrolling, because what is that gaining for anyone? I highly recommend you do this, if not any other time, before bed, because the last thing you want to see right before you go to sleep is some kind of depressing news story or some weird beef in the comments. You just don't want to see that kind of thing before you go to sleep. It's not healthy, it's not going to help you switch your mind off and get a good night's sleep. So highly recommend putting that phone on airplane mode, especially before you go to bed. The next thing I wanted to recommend, without sounding too live, laugh, love, I want to recommend blaring some music and dancing like there's no one watching. I know that sounds like one of those cheesy inspirational Facebook memes that you see, but in all honesty, it is a really great thing to do for the soul. I think just turning up some music really loud and just shaking it all out, moving. Again, so many of these are me just trying to trick myself into exercising. I think I've noticed a theme looking back. But yeah, just moving, dancing, putting on your favourite songs, and unashamedly just being you and jumping around and not caring if you look silly, because you know you're in the privacy of your own home. It doesn't matter whatsoever. But it's so good, I think, just to get things going and just to boost your mood a bit more. It really helps for me. As silly as I probably look when I'm doing it, it really helps. So that concludes my collection of pieces of advice of how to handle these crazy stressful times. I know so many people are going through so much at the moment, and the least we can do is be kind to ourselves. And I don't think we should think of it as selfish at all to put ourselves first, to put our mental health and wellness first, because when you're in your best mental condition and you're looking after yourself, that's how you're going to be the best support for other people in your life. You can't expect to be there for people or help people that you love without taking care of yourself first. And I think in these times, with all this craziness going on, it's more important than ever to set that time aside for yourself and be kind to yourself. I hope this was helpful. I actually feel really positive now at the end of this video. I hope that I've helped someone, even if it's just one thing that I've said that someone can take away and use in their own life, then that's amazing. And as I said, if anyone has any further tips or things that help them and keep them sane, please I implore you to share in the comments. I never normally ask people to comment or anything like that, because I don't know, sometimes I feel a bit disingenuous asking for that, but I think in these times it's really important that we all share our techniques and tips for just taking the best possible care of ourselves. So on that note, I hope everyone has a lovely morning, afternoon or evening. Am I turning into what's that film, The Truman Show? Am I turning into Truman? Is that what he says? No, it's something different, but I almost sounded like him. It's like good morning, good afternoon, and good night, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, whatever time it is, I hope you have a really good day and just look after yourself. And I guess I'll see you for my next video.